Loud crew. Motherhood isn't always picture perfect, but we are just 4 moms doing our best, trying to figure it out together. Let's get real as we talk about how we are either defining or redefining motherhood in our lives.
I like how you did that.
And
Defining
you said 4
or
moms.
redefining. I know, 4 moms is wild. Look at Remy.
You said 4.
Wait, 4 moms and how many kids?
2, 4, 5, 6 and a half.
The half.
6.5. I love how she counted.
The half is crazy.
2, 4.
We're going
Wow.
on 7 kids.
The half is nuts. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. If you guys didn't know, Remy's pregnant.
We're having another one, y'all.
Yeah. Well, I'm mad I announced
I'm
it
so
like that. Don't say I announced her pregnancy. She announced it first online.
She
did.
I didn't realize it was like, oh, here's our here's our announcement. Because I had people this weekend reaching out.
I was shocked
like,
when you got...
Oh,
It wasn't
Remy's
supposed to be
pregnant.
the announcement. It was supposed to be Malachi's christening, but I was so pregnant in the pictures that I couldn't avoid it. I'm like, either I have to tell everyone, do not post a single picture, which kind
Right.
of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Or just tell the people I'm pregnant and just put off my dreams of the perfect announcement that I had planned.
What
was your perfect announcement?
So we were on the beach. It was sunset.
Okay.
She
And-
went straight into it.
I thought she was
we're on
going to
the
take a second to
Okay,
think
let's
about
do it. On the beach.
I'm on the
We
beach.
were on the
Sunset?
beach.
Okay.
The sun was setting. It was like the beautiful, like pinkish orange, almost red night sky.
Wait, did this
Ooh, I'm
already happen?
No,
No,
this
it
was the
didn't.
dream
Okay.
announcement.
Beautiful. Okay.
So,
Keep going.
You get like a visual of the waves, and then you see like Brandon and I holding hands, but we're facing the ocean, and you see like little footsteps, but you don't see Malachi yet. You just see his feet, and then the camera like zooms out, and you see him running towards us. As he approaches us, Brandon and I turn around. He comes up to my belly, he kisses it, and then he turns around, and he has a shirt that says "Big Brother."
Closer.
And then he kisses my belly, and then we all just like disappear.
Go into the sunset.
You just
I feel like we can still do this.
I'm like, you can still do that.
I also feel like we need to call Brighton and Diego because we did this whole sunset shoot one time
Yeah.
in Santa Barbara, but it was those colors that you were
Yes.
describing.
It was like that red, blue,
colors,
like
yeah.
really, really bright.
It was like a
yeah.
certain time
That
that he
sounds
was like
beautiful.
had to shoot.
Yeah, and it was gonna fade to black and say "Baby Bobo #2 coming soon."
Oh, can we still do
I
that?
really feel like you should still do this.
We can still
Yes,
do-
creative
but
director
that was
over
the
here,
plan,
like-
so y'all can imagine how like internally I was having this battle of wanting to have this like super cool announcement, and Brandon was like, "So what? Like it doesn't always have to be that deep." And I'm like, "You're right." He really humbles me a lot of times because I have big plans for everything, and he's like, "It could all be so simple. Like now you want to tell everyone not to post, and you want to do this, and you want to do that." I was like, "Okay, fine. Let's just do it. Let's
Yeah.
just
Do it,
for
yeah.
Let's make it organic."
It was beautiful.
I'm learning to just like accept simplicity and not feel like everything has to be a production and just like go with the flow more.
That's really hard
like
for
that.
you and me.
Because I love a production.
Me too.
Yeah, we love it.
I think that's why we're friends.
I'm like, me too.
Yeah, it will turn from
Well,
like.
the way you just explained that whole thing, that was a production.
I thought it
That
was great.
like-
Remy and I can have like one simple task that we're supposed to do, like just get the balloons, and it will turn into like a
winter
ceiling
wonderland.
of balloons and balloons coming out of the sky and then from the ground, and then it's like, how did we get
How did we
here?
get here? Yeah.
We weren't supposed to do that.
Nope. It's supposed to be simple.
You said nope.
Yeah.
It's supposed
Nope,
to be
it
simple. But yeah.
wasn't.
But no, that's what happened. And it was good. It was a nice announcement anyways. And
It was
It
really
was
cute.
beautiful.
I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, oh, we're doing it. And I was like, I love this. It was happy.
The time is now.
Right.
time is
The
now.
way you told me, I was like, I was shocked, but it was amazing.
How did she tell
She
you?
cried.
I cried in that event. I saw her in that event. I was shocked to see her. We were at a House of CB event. And then, like, I was playing, sounds weird. I was playing with bunnies, and she came over with, the event had bunny rabbits.
Okay,
It's soft girl era.
Okay, we got that.
Okay.
We didn't think you brought a bunny with you.
I have so many
We
questions.
understood that
This is
the
great.
event had the bunnies and supplied the bunnies, Shannon.
So anyways, Remy came over and I was making she was hungry. She told me she was hungry. So automatically, as her friend, I'm like, why aren't you eating? Where's your food? So I was in the corner feeding her. legit like this in the corner,
Feeding me a
giving her
tuna sandwich.
tuna
And
sandwich
then
in
she
her
was
mouth.
like, "It's okay, you're a mom," and she was referring to like Malachi, and I was like,
She's like, actually,
"I'm pregnant," and then she just started crying. I'm
and
like,
my friend, and the girl that I was with, she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Why would you do this at this moment?" I'm like, "Oh my god, are you serious?" Legit crying.
And then she started crying.
it
Yes.
was hilarious. Yeah, it was quite fun.
That's sweet.
It
I
was. It
imagine
was a
that
very
you both
sweet
were
moment.
dressed very pretty that day, or just like looked really cute at this event. And you had this moment in the corner. Like
I know. I'm
I
picturing
would have
bunnies
loved to have been
behind
like
you.
a random person. Like what's going on over here?
basically-
The dress that I had on for the baptism was Shannon's dress from that event. Was
Well,
it?
one of the
It's not
dresses
the
one I wore, but Era, yeah.
collection.
Got
But
it.
she bought me the one from the event
was
because I
too
really liked it,
short.
but it was too short.
Aw.
She would have been showing Jesus all her
Really?
goodies.
Yeah, it was cute. I still have it. I'm waiting on the day. I'm like, you can't get this back, Shannon, until it has its moment on my body.
I
Save it for your
like that you guys
husbands.
had a whole moment.
It was hilarious. She threw me off. I was not expecting her to be like, "I'm pregnant."
I asked.
That's why I'm hungry, girl.
I pulled
Thanks for
Remy
feeding
to a bathroom at brunch when I knew something was going on with her, but I asked her if she was off a pill.
Yeah, I'm like, Shay, why would I be? Why? Like,
I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, "Are you
could
on
be
drugs
wrong
right now?" Yeah. So our story is a little different than your soft girl era moment that you guys had.
And my brain went
cracking
somewhere
up.
else. Cheyenne's like off a pill. I'm thinking, why would you ask her if she's not taking birth control? Like,
No, it was the way she walked
She was
in.
on drugs.
Yeah.
I was a loop. I was so sick,
Yeah.
and no one knew yet.
Her face was like flushed and she
Yeah.
was fluttered. She came in like chugging waters and like she just
I
sat
was
down and she was
shaky.
shaking.
I was
so
clammy.
even Ashley, my friend
yeah,
Ashley.
are you on drugs?
Yeah, no.
Right? Like, are you okay, girl?
Ashley looked at me and she goes, "Is Remy on something?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm about to ask her." So I pull Remy to the
That's
bathroom
hilarious.
and I'm like, "Did you take a pill?"
What's wrong with
What's wrong with you? And she's like, "No, I'm pregnant, you idiot."
I'm crying so hard inside.
That's hilarious.
So at the table,
I whip you that friend. She's like, "I can help you."
No, I'm like, "Where's mine?" No, I'm just kidding.
She's like, we gotta get it together, Rennie. Like, what is happening?
We got back to the table and I'm like, "Is she gonna break the news? How do I tell Ashley that she's not on a pill? That she's pregnant?"
She's
Everyone
not,
Like, don't worry,
something
girl.
was wrong
She's
with me.
fine.
she's not on drugs. She's creating a whole other
Not
human
like
right
drugs,
now.
but even like an Adderall.
I
She was
looked
just moving
like-
weird.
I was on a 3-day binger going on to day number 4.
Yeah.
Like, I was shaky and sweaty, and
And
I was like almost 30 minutes late because I couldn't
You were
leave the
having-
house because I kept vomiting, and it was just
Yeah.
it
You're
was a
making a
rough first
person.
trimester. Yeah.
yeah, and when she walked in, me and Ash were like, "There's something going on," but I don't know why it went to like, is she
drugs.
on drugs?
Drama, just the
Like what? Now that I think about it, I'm
drama.
like, I don't know why we went there with it, but thank
she
God
wasn't
you're not.
moving right,
Thank God
right.
it's a baby.
Baby, yeah.
Brandon told me.
What?
Yeah, I love how we all have a different
Story.
story.
When did Brandon tell you?
At your house, he said something about Remy. Like I don't remember what it was, But he
we
assumed
were all
that
there
I
for the
knew.
watch party.
Oh.
and he said something about the baby, and I was like
What baby? Malachi?
trying to process. And then it was like, "What'd you say?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I think he was like, so casually, "Oh yeah, like Remy's having another baby, or we have another baby." I thought you knew.
While eating tacos.
Like, and I was just like, "Baby."
He's like
What's
mid-bite.
you? No, but he was like so like, "Oh, I thought you knew. Like this was old news." And then it
Right.
was like, I looked at my mom and I was like, "Did you know?" And she's like, "I mean, I found out maybe yesterday or today." I don't know. She was trying to like lessen the blow for me.
Like, hello?
She's like, no, I had no idea.
Right. In her head,
idea.
she's like, "Yeah, I knew."
It's been weeks. No.
But yeah,
But yeah, congratulations again,
Congratulations.
Remy.
we're excited.
I'm excited.
We're excited about this
Malachi's
one.
gonna be a big brother.
Yeah,
That's
he is.
exciting.
He already comes up to my belly and kisses it, and we say, "Is it a brother?" Because we always thought it would be cool to have like 2 boys, and we're like, "Is it a brother?" And he's like, "Sister, sister," and we're like, "Brother," and he's like, "Sister," and so crazy. The other night, we were putting Malachi to sleep, and we like say his prayers at night, and Brandon was praying over the new baby, and Malachi was fast asleep in my arms. And he popped up out of his sleep and said, "Sister," and then went back to sleep. And I'm like,
He's praying for that sister.
now I'm like, I wonder if he actually knows what it is.
Yeah.
Because we're waiting until the baby's born.
I love it.
contrary to Shy's wants.
Okay, I have girl clothes in my cart.
But Malachi says it's a girl, and well, we're not going to know for sure. But it like I don't know. He just always says sister, and no one's ever taught him that word. So,
Really?
I'm
yeah.
putting it
I
out
don't
there
know,
that
I've-
it's a girl.
Yeah.
I found
I'd
the
be-
cutest clothes.
You said I already found clothes.
I've literally, because I
don't
buy
know.
so much stuff for my kids. I was just like going on
one
there, and then
one.
I went on like the girl baby section because I'm like, okay, we're about to have a girl, and then I just started
it's gonna
adding
happen.
so
Shy
much
and Malachi,
stuff.
they're having a girl.
And Zach is like, you don't know what she's having. I'm like, but I can still save the cart. Like, what's the big
still have the
deal?
cart, okay?
He's like, the baby won't be here for months.
We got a long
How
time.
so? How are you gonna do a baby shower if you're not expecting to know until you give birth?
I have no idea. The
Since
only thing
you're
that
a-
I could
You just
think
do gender
about
neutral
was
colors.
that we have something that doesn't necessarily, like a theme that doesn't speak to girl or boy, but
Yeah.
more like to us. Almost like you're
okay.
planning a wedding theme, kind of.
Yeah,
just like,
and then people buy
something
Neutral
tones.
colors.
yeah. But we don't really need like much for this baby. It's just like a double stroller that we need. So we'll probably not have like,
Just
you
give
know,
us a double
we
stroller.
won't
and
do
we're fine.
a like gifts for the baby on the
Yeah.
registry. It'll just be like one thing because Malachi has a bunch of stuff that the baby could wear, and a lot of my friends just had babies who, if it is a girl, their kids would be out of their stuff. So
I love that.
Yeah,
Well, then,
so we
I
don't
think
really need.
That's perfect.
clothes.
So
That
just
actually
like
is
a
really
celebration
cool.
for you guys.
Yeah,
You can always do something after the baby's here, like
exactly.
you know,
Like a meet and greet.
literally a sip and see.
meet
I
and
was
greet.
invited
Sip
to
and see.
a sip and see, and it was like maybe the baby was like 3 months old,
I like that.
and it was literally like tea. Y'all are waffles.
They're cracking up. That
Because
meet
I'm
and greet.
picturing a meet and greet. Little 6-foot table.
The baby
Go meet the baby.
Nobody can touch
Don't touch
her.
my
I'm
baby.
gonna say her. Nobody can touch her.
Jeremy's gonna be
Oh my
signing
God.
pictures of the baby. I don't know why when you said meet and greet, it didn't work in my head for what I was envisioning.
Well, this brings us to redefining motherhood.
Yes, literally. So
Meet and greet.
our topic is still redefining motherhood, and
Doing meet and greet.
what we're
Redefining
gonna
baby
do
showers.
is go through each of us and talk about if we feel like we are redefining motherhood, where we fall in the realm of motherhood, as in like, you know, all the different titles that it can fall under, or what titles you wish you had under your belt that you just don't have. Is there anyone who wants to start?
Are you looking at me?
I'm looking at all three.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I can look at
You're looking
myself
at me
too.
just now.
Okay,
I'm
maybe we
trying
want to
think.
start.
Okay, so I have notes.
Of course.
Only because like technology, I get distracted, so I needed to write it all down. So I went through the list of the moms that Shy sent over, and I fell more into the traditional mom category than I did the modern mom category. And so I fell into the mompreneur bubble because I run a business from home, but everything else was traditional. So it was the homemaker, which I am because I do everything at home for our home. Like we don't have a nanny or a housekeeper or a chef. So like I am all of those titles. Homemaker, submissive wife, which means that I submit to the authority of my husband. And I don't know why that's traditional. I feel like that is in most cases how marriage works. Like when you are like you're not in this alone. So I don't think like I don't know, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I fall under the submissive wife category because I do submit to my husband, and I'm only able to do that because he submits to God. Like I would not be able to submit to a man who submitted to like social media or to culture or to himself or to the news or like whatever the case is. I just need to know that I'm submitting to someone who's leading me in a direction that is life-giving and not like something that's demeaning or, you know, just like leading me astray.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then the stay-at-home mom category, which is like kind of the same as the homemaker. I don't know why it was like two separate categories, but I'm also the stay-at-home mom because I stayed home with Malachi. He is 16 months, so he's not in school yet. And also the religious devotion mom.
I saw that one.
I didn't like the title, so I'm renaming it.
What are you naming it?
I don't like it to be called religious devotion because religious devotion to me sounds like I'm submitting to like just like a process of policy instead of a relationship with God. And I think like with the relationship with him, everything else flows not with like following regulations. So
What did you
I
rename
called
it?
it a God devoted mom.
Oh, I
I like that.
Instead
Okay.
of a religious devoted mom, it's like, I don't like that term. And then the last one was traditional gender roles mom, but I don't fully fall under that category simply because it's like two-part for me. Like I am a traditional gender roles mom, but my husband is not a traditional gender roles dad. So while like I do all the things, so does he. So I cook, I clean, I look after Malachi. My husband does just as much, if not more. Like he cooks, he cleans, he takes Malachi on play dates, he does the grocery shopping. So I think that's why I've been able to like love this role. Because growing up, I never had any desire like whatsoever to be a stay-at-home mom, let alone a homemaker. Like
So
to me,
in-
it just
It didn't
all
sound,
felt very like suffocating.
So before this, you were in corporate. So in your thoughts of what motherhood would look like now have turned differently into what
So
they are.
different.
So in your world, you have redefined motherhood for yourself.
Yeah, I redefined it. Like first, it was a consequence of being laid off. Like I didn't really have the option to redefine it based on my own will. It was kind of like, okay, your company is closing down. It's American-based offices, so this is what's next. And while I was like trying to figure out what that looked like for me, like what was that next, I realized that even leading up to the time that I was supposed to go back to work, I dreaded it.
Yeah.
Like I was praying, like, Lord, I don't want to go back. I love being home with my baby. And like give me like 4 more months. And prior to like being pregnant, I always thought that the maternity leave was the only undivided time that I would have with my kid. And I was okay with that. But something shifted when I had the baby. Like any other work sound like almost like it was not a waste of my time, but I felt like my time was better spent with my baby. My time was better spent with my husband. So to leave and to go out and be gone I would work 10 to 12 hour days at work. And then I still had events to do. Then we still had to travel with artists. Like to do all that stuff just felt like I was making the decision to prioritize career over prioritizing my family. And I did not want to do that.
Do you see yourself ever going back corporate?
I don't see myself doing anything that means I have to put my family second. And in corporate America, you don't answer to yourself. Like the great news about being an entrepreneur, being the mompreneur, is I still prioritize my family and then everything else comes after that. Like my work is the work I do at home and I live out my passion through the Woven Co. Like I get to do I have like an extended purpose. Like I do realize that a large part of my calling and a large part of my purpose is being a mom and like really discipling my son and raising my son and like doing this in conjunction with my husband and making sure that we are like fully in control over the atmosphere of our home. Like that's the important work for me. But I still love design. I still love things like this even, like chatting with y'all and just like encouraging other moms. So there is a lane for that. It's just like, it's a lane that will always come second to being there for my family.
Yeah.
And in corporate America, you don't have that choice. Like
Yeah,
I
for
can,
sure.
I look forward to this, you know?
Yeah.
But like if I had to do something for 12 hours a day for 5 days a week, that's something that would absolutely drain me. I get home and I'm like, I don't have time. Like, I don't want to do anything after being at work all day. So
The other thing you said that stood out was the gender roles and how you fall under the category of your gender roles that are traditional per se, but Brandon doesn't.
Yeah.
Somebody had sent me a message when last week's episode aired, and they said, can you guys give your thoughts on stay-at-home dads and then career-driven moms? And like how gender roles now have switched and how it's not as taboo as it was before. And I was thinking about it on the way here, and the only like time I've been around like a dad that was a stay-at-home dad was at Ace's friend's birthday party. There was a dad that was by the ball pit, and he was like, oh, I haven't met you at the park. And his wife was standing next to him and goes, because some of us have to work. And I was like, just standing there, like, oh, this seems like an argument that I am not supposed to be in. I'm like,
And you just jump in the ball.
right, I'm like, Ace, woo, woo. Like, I'm like, distract. And like, they're both looking at me, but talking to each other. And I was just like,
so awkward.
this is so awkward. And they were like, he was like, he tried to like, come back to talk to me about like, Ace is always at the park and stuff, and I'm like, he goes with Isabel. Like, I do work during the day. Like, we try to come on the weekends.
Yeah.
Some of us have to go to work.
And the wife was like, you see, some of us go to work on the weekdays, and then they take their children to the park on weekends. And I was still standing there like I'm gonna back.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna back up because I can tell that this is a battle that you guys have in your
you guys
house.
fight all the time about.
Yeah,
I honestly feel like if I was in that traditional gender role by myself, like to where I was doing 100% of the homemaking, 100% of the nurturing, 100% of just of everything, then I would be so burnt out. But I do feel like the reason why I'm able to really enjoy it is because I'm not alone in it. Like Brandon is there doing just as much as I am, especially now that I'm pregnant. I don't have the energy for a lot anymore. And I'm grateful that he does have the flexibility to be there. Because if he didn't, then I would just naturally have to just like create the energy to do it all. But I don't have to. And I think that's such a blessing
That's a huge
to
blessing.
be able to stay home but not have to bear the weight of what I think is expected when you stay at home.
and to have a partner that wants to do all the things.
Yeah.
Because there are some situations where, like when we first started working with Isabel, there was one day she was holding Ace, and this is when Ace was a baby, and she asked me, like whispered, like, Zach wants me to pass him the baby. Do I pass him the baby? And I'm like, what? I'm like, why are we whispering? And why am I whispering back, number one? But
why am I telling you to give Zach the
I'm
baby?
like,
Why are you asking
I was
me?
so confused. Like, why would you ask if like he
okay
can
to have the
hold
baby.
the baby? Like that's his baby, you know?
Give
And
him that man's
Zach
baby.
then came to me and was like, Isabel won't give me the baby. So I was like, okay, let's all talk about what's happening here because it seems to be some things in question. Isabel explained that at one of her past clients that the dad distinctly said, if she is there, do not pass him the baby. Like, if you're here, I want nothing to
I don't wanna see you.
with my children.
Interesting.
And he's like, I love them, but
it's not my
time that
time.
you're here, those are now your kids, and do not pass me that
I
baby.
do not exist.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm cleaning, I'm bathing, I'm doing homework, I'm holding the baby, and he will be in the next room over, but I know if they're crying for him, not to open that door. So we had to explain, like, no, like, you're here as an extra set of hands, you're not here as the main set of hands.
Yeah. Right.
So if Zach is here and Ace wants Zach,
Then he can go to his father.
you better scream for Zach.
stop
Get
it.
your baby. Like, yeah.
Better
So
get Zach.
I realized that each household, number one, is different, but that was like a big thing that Isabel almost had to break out of, was like realizing that
Interesting.
Zach can change Ace, can bathe Ace, can
Do all the
feed
things
Ace,
while
like
you're
do
here.
all of the things. I can
Yeah.
be right there and she can be right there with me. And
Yeah.
in the beginning, it was really like mind-blowing to see how mind-blown she was that like she was that Zach would change a diaper.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, is this that?
So she had to unlearn
Yeah.
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 because of the other households.
Because of
the
what
man
she's
in the
seen. And then even like my role, you know, it was hard to figure out our footing because I'm still at home most of the time when I'm working and I'll be on and off a meeting. But when I'm off a meeting, then I want to hang out with Ace too. And then she's kind of like looking at me and
Like,
I'm
what do
looking
I
at
do?
her and I'm
my
like,
baby.
I'm like, Walk away. Walk away now. Now come back. Now come back. Come back. We need help. We need help.
Find something to do, but don't be too far.
Right. I'm like, just go to the next room over.
Like, wait, go.
But I think it goes back to like gender roles and the roles that everyone plays. And even in watching Zach, like he put Ryder to bed the other night and someone was at her house. I don't know who it was. And they were like, he's going to go put her to sleep. I'm like, why not? Like,
Why is it so surprising?
why is it so surprising that they do shit? Like, I'm so confused by that aspect when it comes to parenting of like, why is it so flabbergasting when the dad can do all of the same things that a mom can do?
Yeah.
I think it's sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying I'm seeing it a lot more, though, these days with dads being active. Like, the parks are full of dads. And when I go to the park, I'm like, where are the moms? Where are my ladies at? But, like, it's so beautiful, though, to see how involved dads are in nurturing their kids and not just the financial and disciplinary part of it, but the raising, the talking to, the loving, the taking to school, the picking up. Like, the dads these days are doing such an incredible job, and I love how they've broken out of the stereotype of my only role here is to discipline and to work.
Yeah.
Right, no,
Exactly.
but also to nurture and
They're
love.
involved.
The person that I'm actually talking to is super involved like that, and I find it so attractive because he makes sure that like if he didn't spend some like extra time or if he's super busy at work, like, oh, I'm gonna take this time to go on a date with my daughter or like make that extra time because he is that active dad that's taking them to school, will do their hair if he needs to and all those things. And I just find it like you said, it's so beautiful to see those dads playing that role of like what a mother should be doing or those things. But I think it's an attractive thing and it's an amazing thing to see because dads are so important as well. And to step up and do those things, it's awesome.
Shannon, what about you as far as defining or redefining motherhood? Where do you think you fall in the line of things?
I was looking at some of them and I saw the single mother one, and sometimes I really don't like being under that role and being defined as a single mother, even though that I am a single mom. There is one that said,
why don't you like being under it?
I don't know, but also it's very empowering because I feel like I struggle with it sometimes.
Okay.
Because I feel like, yes, I am a single mother and I do play all the roles majority of the time, but sometimes I like to be known just as a strong mother.
Do you think that a single mom has a negative connotation to it?
Yes.
What is negative about it?
I feel like people as single mothers, and like I said again, I don't mind being a single mother. I think I'm a strong, beautiful, amazing mother, and it makes me stronger and all those things. But it does have a negative impact sometimes. I feel like people will put you under an umbrella like, oh, like maybe what did you do, or like did you not try hard enough for your family, or just
It's like the weight is on us.
Yes,
It's like we might not be single because we walked away or because it wasn't a good situation, but it's like I think there's this feeling sometimes like, oh, you couldn't keep your man,
right?
Like, things like that where it comes off kind of
it could come off really
negative or heavy at times.
When oftentimes like leaving is probably the best you can do for your kids.
Yes, I think when I left my situation, I think that I was holding on for a long time because of how I saw what a family should be. A traditional family, a traditional way of having a kid. I held on to that for a long time. And even when Robert was living in our house, I was like, okay, here's my moment for us to be that family, to be what my parents want of a household. Because my parents are very traditional. They would not let us sleep in the same room, even though we had a kid together. I didn't stop us from
You're
doing
like,
it.
we already did
the new, but
Like, it doesn't work
whatever.
like that.
But
That's funny.
I think I'm defining motherhood as a super individual. I think
there was a Supermom one.
There is a Supermom one, and I think I fall under that because I am a mompreneur. And defining my career, which is a big blessing that I'm able to do so. My schedule is all over the place, but at the same time, I feel like I'm a super mom because I really try my hardest to make sure that I'm in all the pockets, in all the things, to make sure that my kid, it knows that I'm there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm really driven with my career and wanting to make sure that I'm pursuing the things that I want to pursue. I'm doing the things that that nurture me as a human, as a mother. And I said human first because I feel like as a mother, you need to nurture that inner self so that you can nurture onto your child.
100%.
To nurture, I feel like nurturing yourself. I know there's a bunch in here that I can't name. I don't have my notes. I really wanted my notes.
That's hard to pull them out.
But yeah, I feel like I'm defining motherhood. And
when you were growing up,
defining
how
it.
did you picture what motherhood would look like for you?
I thought I was going to be that traditional mother. I thought that...
A traditional mom or to have a traditional household?
Traditional household. Thank you for correcting me. Because I thought I was going to have a traditional household. I thought I was going to have a husband. I thought I was going to have, that 50-50 play off, like you do this, I do that. But it's not that. I do all the things. I cook, I clean, I get him to hockey, get him to karate, get him to all these things. So I am defining it day by day.
Yeah.
And so I've said it last episode that I truly believe I'm Superwoman because I'm doing all the things. And I think that's okay. And so to go back on the single mom thing,
there's so much more to you.
There's so much more to me. And I don't want to be defined as a single mother, but from the outside looking in, I am. But there's so much more to me.
Yeah.
I guess that goes back to defining of what you always talk about. What is
the different titles that
the
you
different
wear?
titles that you wear.
I think that you are saying I'm a single mom. I know I'm a single mom, but I also don't like being titled being a single mom.
I don't
it feels limiting because there's just...
It is very
I
limiting.
feel like
a
it
lot
puts
more
you in
to
a
it.
box.
Yeah.
Do you think you would be open to some, if you were defined as the primary parent? Because I went through this struggle for a while, and I was like, I hate being I'm a single mom. I just didn't like it. So I was like, you know what? How can I take everything that I'm doing and kind of take my power back? And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a single mom. Yeah, I may have a shitty connotation at times, but I'm the primary parent.
Yeah.
When I, even in exploring dating and whatnot, I didn't come out as, I'm a single mom or I'm a single this. It's, I'm the primary parent to my two sons. I'm doing my best to manage this co-parenting situation, but at the end of the day, I am the primary parent.
I like primary parent too, and I think I do say that most of the time because I don't. When I talk to people, what's your deal? I'm like, I'm the main primary parent. I'm Parker's. I'm the mom. Yeah, literally, and I don't think I don't lead off with that. And then that's when people ask, I was like, no, I don't have a husband and these things. But I think I carry myself with that, presence of, I am the primary parent. I am confident. I am, that's Parker's mom. You're badass.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk to somebody, they come back to me and say, your kid is so well behaved, and you're you're doing an amazing job as a mother. And those are the things when other mothers come to you and say those type of things, you're like, oh shit, you see me and I see you. And I love those moments when mothers are I think there's one in here of mom
building community
because I think that's what is so important. And that's what I do a lot with when I meet mothers. I have a whole hockey family. I have Parker's, like there's a mom at Parker's school that I'm really close to. So building that community and motherhood, especially being the primary parent, is so important.
Yeah.
And to have those mothers that see you for being an amazing mother is like, thank you.
Yeah.
Or to have those people to like bounce ideas off, or see parents or mothers that are with, you know, their partner. And like I don't think I've never felt like any like feeling any type of way towards those mothers, because I'm like, yes, you can give me advice about when my future husband comes, or I can look at different dynamics of like that. I like that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take this.
I don't want to take that over
I don't want to take that. Thank you for showing me that. I love watching different dynamics between like you guys and like you and Shot, like you and Zach. It's so beautiful to me, and it's beautiful for Parker to even see of like how a husband is or how a parent is. And it's interesting now that Parker's dad is married, for him to see their dynamic as husband and wife. So, I just, defining motherhood and me being a momtrepreneur, I really love what I do. I love that I can be that for Parker, and for him to see such a strong woman raising him.
One thing I wanted to say about the single mom category is that it is such a testament of strength, because it's hard to do it as a party at two. Like, it's hard. But, like, to do that and to carry the weight, and one of my friends put it as a burden we were meant to carry, and I was like, whoa, that's deep, because you realize that, like, you can do it.
Yeah.
And I just think that you're so strong, like how you're so strong to be the primary parent and do it all, like to work, to have to like leave your kids to go work, to come home and like still have to be two people almost to make sure that, you know, they're getting the full dynamic of love, and to still have the time to nurture yourself, to still have the time to be in community and all those things. It's just like, how do y'all do it? It's hard. So I just wanted to encourage y'all a little bit, like when it comes to being a single mom. And although that category does have a negative connotation, I think it's one of the strongest titles that one could possibly hold. Yeah. And I've always seen strength through any of the single moms. Like, my mom was a single mom for a long time, and almost every single mom that I did see growing up, they were handling business. Their kids were happy. Their kids had to like go to school because the mom had to work, and a lot of them couldn't afford like certain privileges that we have today. But they made it. Their kids are good, you know?
Yeah.
And
It's such, thank you.
it's a sign of strength, and
Thank
y'all are
you.
doing great. So
I think, and it's part of community too.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing that we both have.
In the
Not trying to
village, you guys
in the
both
village,
have such strong
village.
villages.
Because I was able to, when I first had Parker, to be a stay-at-home mom. I think that was such a blessing, because at that time, like but it's a blessing to be able to have the village and family and love and people to tell you how strong you are.
yeah.
To be that parent, because sometimes, like you said, sometimes people randomly tell me, like, I don't know how you do it, girl. I'd be like, yeah.
Me either.
Like, I don't know how we're here.
I love it when the dads chime in.
I'm not sure either, but like you said, I think my faith in God and my talks with God, and I think that's what gets me through my everyday life. Because if I didn't have my faith, I think I would probably crumble.
Yeah.
But I give it to us single mamas.
Yes.
What about you, Shy?
I went through that list so many times because I was down that rabbit hole of motherhood that I feel like I found a lot of titles that I liked, and in my head I felt like I wore the titles, but I also found some that I was like, okay, I want to be more of this. So like I feel like I fall under the career, I'm very like, I'm into making money. Like, I don't know. It's just, I like it. a lot. Like, I don't know how else to put it.
So you're a career-driven
So
mother.
I would say it's very, like, career-driven, where there's sometimes I wish I wasn't so career-driven to where, like, Zach will have to remind me, like, okay, put your phone down, like, stop doing that and be more present with us here. So I think sometimes I wear that hat too much, and I don't know how to necessarily turn it off for family time, which I've been working on this year, is trying to, since I work from home, trying to separate home life from work life, which is hard when...
How have you been trying to do that?
So, like, we have a downstairs office, and it never gets touched. But Zach was like, why don't you set times where, like, you go in the office and work, and when you come out of there, your work is done.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the house is our home.
Yeah.
So that...
I like that.
Yeah, so this morning I went in the office and cleaned it all up because it almost became like a storage junk area for me. Just when I just didn't want to see something, I would throw it in there.
Yeah.
We don't need these clothes anymore.
Yeah, like there's so much junk in there. So I went this morning, I cleaned it all out. We're actually supposed to go to Target today to like buy new
Organization.
Yeah,
things.
like just like freshen it up, you know, and
Can I come? I love this.
and like really make it into like my workspace. But that when I leave that workspace, that the rest of my home is like my home, and I treat it as so.
That's important.
So you turn on to mother and wife.
Yeah, because it gets so intertwined with working from home. It's so easy to just put my laptop on the couch and I'm working from the couch, but then when Ace comes to ask me for something, I'm like, hold on. Like, let me just finish this email. And then by that point, like, he's already moved on to the next thing or the next person who could help him.
Yeah.
Where I should have been able to say, like, let me put this down. This email can
Like,
wait.
what do
It
you
can
need?
get sent in 10 minutes. Let me go and address what you want to do.
Yeah.
Where it's easier in my brain to just finish the email, especially with the way my brain works. Like, there's sometimes
You're
I
just
just need to get the thought out
work-driven.
because if I don't, I'm not going to remember the thought. So I really think just setting my space up differently will help me. And then having, like, a defined schedule. So, like, Zach now has started, like, he does breakfast and makes Ryder's lunch. And then normally I'll take Ryder to school. But he's like, what if I take Ryder to school so that during that time, like, that's just you time? Because by that time, Isabel's already came. So he's like, you hadn't have, like, an hour to just, like, clear your head before you step into your office. Where normally people would drive to work and they have that time to, like, center themselves on, like, the task that they're about to do.
Yeah.
So really I'm working on, like, redefining, like, my scheduling and what that looks like. So I was really driven to, like, the mompreneur and the career titles where I wanted to be more of, like, the homemaker and submissive wife titles. So I think the list kind of helped me realize where I'm at and where I want to be.
Do you think, so hearing, like, where you are versus where you want to be, it's interesting to me because sometimes it feels like it may be more kid-driven versus, like, parent-driven versus, like, wife-driven. Do you think they go hand in hand, or do you think you're, like, I'm trying to work this question out in my head in terms of, do you think your role as a wife and your role as a parent are on the same like journey or trajectory? Like, do you define them together separately?
No, I have to treat my marriage separately from me being a mom.
Okay.
Because I have to nurture my husband and my marriage way differently than the way that I nurture my children and take care of my children.
So in terms of that, say, like, homemaker, I understand the submissive wife, that's for your husband.
Right, but homemaker,
it's like, is that more of
like, I want to, like, Zach cleans our house. And there's days where, like, I would love to get up and help you clean, but I'm so focused on the task that I'm doing on the phone or the computer that I'm watching him clean, where I'm like, I can put this down and help him clean. Yeah. But naturally, I don't. I just let him clean. So, like, when I think of homemaker, like, I want to start doing more things around our house. Or, like, he cleans both the kids' rooms. By the time I'm still just probably in the mirror, and I'm like, damn, the kids' rooms are clean already. Like, I had to do it that fast. So, like, when I say homemaker, I want to do more things. Like, that
Cleaning
fall
and
under
cooking.
that, like, traditional role of, like, what a mom and a wife would do, because then that is under the same umbrella. Like, a homemaker is a homemaker whether you have a husband or not.
You're homemaking for the household,
like,
not just for your kids.
It doesn't matter. So I think that's where I want to be more of like that traditional wife, where I do like the gender role switch. I do feel like I fall under the category of like certain gender roles. Like I make dinner for my kids every night, or Zach makes dinner, and it's never like a problem, you know what I mean? Like he makes breakfast for the kids and all of us every day, and then doesn't make breakfast for himself. So like we had that talk yesterday where I'm like, I made breakfast for you this morning, you didn't eat it, but every time you make breakfast, you also don't eat breakfast. Why don't you eat breakfast?
Eat breakfast.
I'm like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you eating? So like I think that I'm trying to do better at the category of homemaker and the category of wife, and then the category of like still understanding that I can be career driven and want goals and to knock off certain things off of that checklist, but that checklist shouldn't come before my home checklist.
Yeah, that's a really important shift. Do you think that setting the schedule for yourself will help, or like has it helped already? And what does that schedule look like for you? Like when do you say, I'm done with work, no matter how much I didn't get done, now it's time for me to be fully present, phone off, computer off with my family?
So I think in my head, I want to say that the schedule will work. I just have to actually do it. And then what it would look like is like from that 9 to 5 time is where that's like my work time. Isabel's off at 5 o'clock, so that's my time to tap into like being fully present with Ace, where like Ace comes in and out of my office all day long, and it doesn't bother me unless I'm on a Zoom and I'm like, you're like, get away. You know, I'm get back, little boy. But besides that, I want to be fully present, and I feel like I'm able. It's different with Ryder because she's at school from 8 to some days, like yesterday she was at school from 8 to 4:30. So it's like my time, it doesn't feel like I'm being taken away from time with her because she's at
doing
school.
something.
She's doing something. But I also want to make sure that I'm working enough to where when I am called to her school, I can be there and be fully present. So like for field trips, I want to go on the field trip and not be on my phone and not thinking about emailing, but I want to be present. But I know in order for me to be present there, I have to set certain time before I go to have done the work that's needed to be done.
That's so real,
And it's like if I'm playing with Ace at 12 o'clock, and then I'm coming back to the office at 3 o'clock, and I'm going back to Ace. Like, nothing's getting done. I'm starting a lot of things.
But you're not
I'm not finishing things.
So then they're constantly running in your mind when you're supposed to be present at 9 o'clock at night with your husband.
That's the issue. I'm like, I started all these things today. Why aren't any of them done? And then I think about my day, and I'm like, wow, I never separated that time to really say, like, Isabel, I'm going into the office. Now this is my space. I have calls from this time. Like, maybe this is the time that you take Ace to the park.
Right. So and let me really hone in on your work.
Because if not, when Ace is in the house, I want to play with Ace.
Like, you want to be attentive.
Yeah, he's there. So I'm playing with him half the day. And then I realized I started so many things. I didn't finish any of them. And then list making is really big for me and Zach. Like, we make lists together, and it can be household things. It can be, like, date night things. It can be just things that we thought about that we want to accomplish. And just checking off a list together, like running through the list in the beginning of the day, and then at the end of the day, figuring out what we did, what we didn't get done, like that helps my mind settle.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I'm proud of you, Shy. I love that because you have so many jobs and you have so many things that you're responsible for that I can imagine how chaotic your brain is, and that it's just like always going to where you feel a lot of the weight to get things done so that you can have the lifestyle that you desire. But to make that decision to say, like, I don't care how much I didn't get done, it's now 5 o'clock and it has to wait. It has to either wait until my husband and my kids are asleep or until my work time again tomorrow. And that will make a difference. Like it could be difficult at first because you are so used to just going.
It's also you don't want to burn yourself out.
And I get burned out
one day.
I definitely get burned out.
So does it give you anxiety if you don't finish your full-on work task and then going into like, okay, here I am going to be a homemaker, submissive wife? Does it give you anxiety if you didn't?
I naturally just have anxiety already on top of like anything else. I'm already anxious. It's just already there. But yes, if there are things that I feel like in that morning I wrote this list and nothing in that list has been checked off and it's 2 o'clock already, I'm just in my head, it's like scrambled eggs.
I hear you.
And I'm like, now it's time to go pick up Ryder. Now the day is over.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Yes.
I sit her down, I get homework, Zach does homework with her, but then I'm making dinner, and then I'm thinking in my head, okay, why the kids eat dinner?
I can do
Then
this real fast.
But then Ryder is so, like, family-oriented. She's like, no, we're all going to sit here and eat dinner. And then I'm like, dang, why is it take my kid to tell me to sit down and eat dinner with her for me to put my phone down?
Yeah.
You know, and then that makes you feel like more
Yes.
anxiety as a mom because
Yes.
it's like I just messed up. Like it shouldn't
That
take
is the-
my child telling me
Yes.
eat dinner with me.
Yeah.
But then last night we were just on go mode, and then we both sat at the table with the kids, and realized we made the kids dinner and didn't make us dinner. And
Wow,
Zach and I were like,
ship am I
you're like,
running?
wait, where's my food at? Like literally, Ryder's like, sit down, let's all have dinner as a family. Me and Zach sit, and I look at the table. I'm like, why did we forget to feed ourselves?
That's so crazy. Yeah. It happens that way because that's how I am in the morning. I'll make Parker breakfast, a whole huge breakfast, and then I'm like,
You're like eating the leftover
and
eggs out of the pan.
then I'm at work shaking just because I'm off of coffee, and I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm
I
sorry,
swear.
I'm having the worst anxiety because I only had
Yeah.
coffee. They're like,
Yeah.
why? I'm like, Parker had pancakes and
Right.
sausage.
That's Zach will make breakfast for all of us, and then I'll find him over at the stove eating like the stuck eggs that are on the pan,
Yes.
like the leftover eggs. I'm like,
Yeah, why didn't you just make two more?
didn't you
That is
Just
so
make two more.
interesting. It's
Right.
interesting that us
It is.
parents do that to ourselves. Like we make sure that everyone in the house is
Yeah.
good. But when it comes to us, it's like
Scavengers.
we're just like
I
we're.
swear last night we sat at the table.
Scavengers.
Ryder had rice, corn, chicken. I'm like,
Did you guys not divvy out your guys'
Right.
food?
Like,
Bro,
what happened?
we just we
never my story.
we did it.
Y'all
we
hear what I be
did
doing.
not. We ended up
quiet.
ordering a pizza once the kids were down, and
Oh
we
my God.
like that's how bad it was last night. I'm like, what is going on right now?
man.
Okay, Kyle, what's going on with
But
you in
before we move
motherhood?
to Kyle, I'm excited to hear how this.
Yes.
How the
Yes.
structured days actually end up making a difference.
Me
So
too.
keep us posted on that. Make sure you stick to it.
It's
Yeah, I
been,
know,
It's
and that's
been
how-
developing within
I've been
Cheyenne.
going through
like,
this like for the past like this year has
Yeah.
been like my year of like organization and saying no and being still.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Being still.
yeah, like just being
that was funny.
I'm like, girl, let me see you be still.
On what days
Oh, this
between
water
what,
with you.
between
I'm
what
still
minute?
moving.
I really, but one more thing.
I'm trying, okay?
I like how with you redefining motherhood for yourself is that I like that you went through the list, and yes, you are a career-driven mother, but you found things that you would love to be as
Yeah.
a wife,
Yeah.
and the
Right.
things that you want to be.
I feel like I looked
I
at
like
the
that.
list like, okay, what
What
can
can-
I take from this and what can I do better?
yeah.
I like that you did that with the list. Now I want to look at the list again and be like,
Yeah, go
Yes.
back to the list
I
because I,
kinda-
feel like you'll
I-
find
it's- there's
things.
more
And it's like
things,
you've
it's
changed
so
on the
much.
list.
yes,
Yeah.
I like that. Kyle,
Let's hear
Y'all-
it, sister.
I started off as the martyr mom.
the what?
The martyr mom.
That one was
Okay, read
interesting.
that
which was
one?
very
Yes,
interesting.
please.
The belief that modern moms should prioritize their children's needs above their own, sacrificing their own well-being, interests, and ambitions for the sake of their families, often leading to feelings of guilt and burnout. That was me for
a
quite a while.
martyr.
Yeah,
Martyr.
Yeah.
I get
Martyr.
it.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm
Martyr.
there with you.
I think that was like the space that I was operating out of for quite a minute as a new mom. And it really did burn me out because I was in a space that was not like, I think, for me as a parent.
Yeah.
And I was doing all these things to like prioritize like the well-being of my 2-day-old son, 3-month-old son, 9-month-old son who had no idea of anything going on. But it was like, these are the things that I need for him to have in his life.
Yeah.
And these are the things that I need him to like be able to experience like with his other parent or this other family.
Yeah.
So
I
are you saying
sacrificed-
you stayed you stayed
Yes.
with Mez in these situations, putting the boys first but putting yourself second?
Yes.
Okay.
Period.
I felt like you were talking in code.
Period.
I'm trying to get you to
Oh,
just
no.
I
Just
followed.
talk. Oh, no.
Say it.
I was literally sacrificing like core parts of myself
Yeah.
to prioritize what I felt were the needs of my children. But if mom's been drained and empty, I can't be the mom that I want to be or
Yeah.
that I can't be present. So I'm very grateful that I do not operate out of that space anymore.
Yeah.
So that was an old one.
That's an old one.
How
So
did you
as I was
transition
going,
out of that?
I had to make a decision, you know. I've always been a nurturing mom. I've always been like
Very nurturing.
very like, you know,
yeah.
I agree. Very loving, like let me just pour into my children. But once I started realizing like I couldn't do that when I don't have time to pour into myself and I didn't have a partner who was there to pour into me, like I would be dead. Like those were literally,
And you
I'm
can't
going
pour
to
from
die.
an empty cup.
Yes.
Cannot pour from
And I
empty cup.
also know, like, I come from an entrepreneurial background. Like, I love being a mompreneur. I knew where I wanted to get. So I had to make decisions to really, what do I want to be? Like, what is this mother? How has motherhood changed my life? Like, what role do I want to be in? So that's my mompreneur. I want to be the community mom as well. Like, and as I'm, you know, dating again or getting back into this dating world, being open, like I had to learn how to be a receiving woman, you know, and I think that plays into how I'll be the submissive wife, and it's being the homemaker. Like these are things I truly do love, but I had to understand. I feel like I had to experience what I did not like to even know what I did like or what I could like. And my journey of dating now is seeing how different dads are. It's totally redefined like how I'm defining motherhood for myself or parenting like with someone else.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're like, oh,
yeah.
That
yeah,
does
like
exist.
that does
Yeah.
exist. Like, oh, I
It
might
does
want that in
exist,
my
yeah. And just hearing how you were talking about, you know, your situation where it's like you see the drop off at school, cooking dinners, doing activities. I'm like,
yes,
I'm
hello.
not crazy for wanting to redefine my version of motherhood or what has been for me. And it's also giving me the reassurance in the spaces that I do want to redefine myself in. I can.
Yeah.
You know, that space is there. I can be the loving mom, but also the entrepreneurial mom and be like, still be this like boss boundary lady, but like also be soft at the end of the day and like be loved and nurtured. So I'm really excited about where I am right now in terms of redefining motherhood for me. This last year, I feel like has been really eye-opening because when I came home, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? I was like, I was happy about the decisions I made. And it gave me that opportunity, I feel, to really redefine, like, what kind of mom I want to be. And I feel like I'm figuring it out. It takes a lot of work. I don't really sleep. I eat a lot of cold meals, but it's
don't really sleep. Are you?
I don't really sleep.
But that goes
But
into
at the same time, like
I know you're nurturing yourself.
I've been carving out space to like really take care of myself. It's helped me redefine some of my friendships. It's helped me redefine how I spend my time because I was on that back and Boz is in school. When he goes to school, it's me and Zaire, and it's really hard to get stuff done. I start a bunch of things, and at the end of the day, my shit is not all done, and me and my scrambled egg brain, I'm like, how am I going to do this? You know? So I started narrowing down my list. Rather than starting off, I need to get these 8 things done, let's start with 2.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
what are the 2
rather
most
than
important?
trying to like just take
Yeah.
over everything, it was like, let me build myself up. Like I had to literally rebuild my battery pack, I feel.
Yeah.
And in this, it's my relationship and my conversations with God have really increased.
Good.
So, I just think all of this stuff has increased. My spiritual awareness, my mental health, my mental hygiene, like how I take care of myself. My emotional health and hygiene is like really changed. So I love redefining, just
your motherhood.
change,
Yeah.
allowing the change to happen. And
Yeah.
also sometimes not putting a role or a definition or a title on it. Because then I feel like I may not be allowing the gifts that God wants me to receive if I'm trying to just get me here.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of been trekking on my journey and putting my prayers out there and kind of focusing on clearing the space or like clearing the energy that is not meant for me and allowing the energy that is meant for me to come in and like organically grow and just develop rather than me being like, I need to get to these roles, or I want these titles, or I certainly want this. Like, yes, I have my wants and needs, but I'm also like, my wants and needs have been wrong before.
Yeah.
And I feel like in my human, like my pride or my ego, I'm having to like release those things and just more so just really tune into like what God wants for me. Like, what is my divine like purpose? What is that divine energy? What does that divine feminine look like for me? So yeah, I don't really have like specific titles. I feel
your mother,
but,
yeah.
I love
but it's
it.
just like
I
I'm
love it.
allowing that change to just happen.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in a better place to receive the change, where
Yes.
in the past I think changes could have happened and were happening around you, but you weren't
Ready.
receiving
I wasn't
them.
receiving,
Yeah.
or I didn't know I was deserving, or I didn't know it was like it
Yeah.
was attainable
That-
for me.
Yeah,
Like
'cause it's
What was
so
that
easy.
shift, do you think? Like, what took you from feeling like
Low.
you were undeserving of whatever it is that was coming your way, and like you just felt like you had to stay
I
in
truly
that?
feel like
whatever it is.
I was operating on that martyr mom with my kids, but I feel it was a mixture of postpartum. I was also just in an unhealthy situation with a person who refused to see me for me.
Yeah.
And you're probably screaming like, look.
Yeah, like imagine being like,
And you were
hey,
also
yeah.
probably hopeful.
I need
Yeah,
help,
and it's
okay to
someone
be
doesn't wanna help you.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's easy from the outside perspective to look and to say, like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
why are you putting yourself through this? Get out. Come home. Stop.
Right.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. But if you're not in a place to receive it,
Or
then
hear, or
anything
one-
that
yeah.
the outside
Or
can
it's like-
tell you're almost defensive.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
You can hear it, you can see it, you can know it's not wrong, but there's still something there that is anchoring you.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, what is this anchor? Like, I don't even like this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah,
But I was
when you're in
still
it, you
stuck.
Yeah.
And I think the anchor, or one of them, was that you wanted the
Your
boys
family.
to
You
have
wanted
a
your
certain,
boy- yeah.
to have certain
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's natural.
You wanted them to have that traditional household.
So you were willing to martyr?
literally sacrificing myself.
She was walking
Yeah.
a plank.
Hey, I know,
been
and that's
there.
how I
No,
felt.
I've
I
been there
walked a
too.
plank. I walked away from business. I walked away from family. I walked away from a house. Like,
Yeah.
I literally gave
It's hard
up things.
to see when
I ain't
you're
doing that shit again.
blinded.
Yeah. I want to
but,
ask you one more question.
Yes, Ron.
What are you most proud of yourself for in this season?
I'm still open to receiving love. I think that's the most beautiful thing. Like, I could be bitter or be like, I could still be low somewhere.
Yeah.
I could have come home and totally crumbled or played crazy. Like, not literally played crazy, but like
Actually been crazy.
I could have been crazy. Like,
Yeah.
there were times where I was like, Mom, like
You're not well.
I'm not well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really fighting today.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've been fighting for myself for so long in so many
Yeah.
aspects of my life, within my own journey, where it's like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And
you're doing it.
I've had a
Yeah.
great year. And those prayers that I've put out, my wants, desires, needs, that I've been like, okay, God, if I do my part here, you're gonna meet me here. Like, those things have been, and like, they've been revealing themselves. I'm not saying they've been answered, but it's like they are revealing themselves, and it's like I'm still learning my lessons, and I'm like able to apply them now in different ways. So I feel like I'm in this stage of like relearning how to, or redefining how I apply certain things in different situations that affect my ability to be the mother I want to be. So
I see so much growth.
you know what? I love it. I'm like where I was, like
proud of you.
Yeah.
just where I was last year at this point. I'm very proud of like where I am now.
It's like
should
night
be.
and day.
Yeah,
You
you
should
should
be
be
proud of
very proud
yourself.
of yourself.
Crazy. And like my kids are good. And it's like, there's even times where the boy's dad, he'll be like, yeah, you're thriving. Like,
Well, it's nice.
And it's
good.
nice.
Like,
But I want to
yeah.
say,
Like, yeah. Don't say it in that grumpy voice.
That's how I picture
No,
him.
it
You're
is nice
thriving.
to
But he'll be like, I see you're thriving. And I'm like, I am.
You're like,
Wow.
thank you for seeing
Thank
me.
you for recognizing
Yeah,
this
like,
for once.
see it
Like,
again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enjoy the view.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Damn, enjoy
Enjoy it
the
from
view.
there.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Don't become attracted to my thriving.
No, and it's
Stay over
enjoy
there.
the view. You could have been a part of this, but now you
not-
just get
it's-
to enjoy the view.
You better
Yeah,
write
I
him
love
a-
that that
Never
happened.
mind.
Write him a what?
Nothing. I was
Enjoy
gonna say
the view.
something
No.
crazy. I'm just gonna
like off camera, off camera.
Never mind. I
No.
think that it's just cool to listen to everybody's like, own perspectives of themselves as mothers. And I want to open it up to the listeners for you guys to tell us what motherhood looks like for you. If you redefine motherhood, if you fall under, what categories do you guys fall under when it comes to motherhood? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And maybe you're not there yet. Like, maybe you're in your moment of redefining because it doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. So how are you going to transition from, feeling that undeserving feeling to feeling like you are a valued mother?
Yeah.
So,
And there's
especially
no age
with Mother's
cap.
Day
There
coming
is
up,
none.
and I just think the subject of being mommies is
It's
so
so-
important,
Yep.
and giving the mothers around you their flowers while you still can.
Yeah.
Please do.
So-
It's so important to give mothers around you their flowers while you still can, or just the parents around you, because you never know what's going to happen the next day, or just anything. And you don't know what a mom is going through or a father is going through at that time. That those flowers that you can give them at that moment could uplift their spirits, because it's not easy
Yeah.
to be a mother, to be a parent. It's not easy at all. So
It's not.
give those flowers. I like that.
And I think to all the mothers out there also, as we're redefining motherhood, we really can't redefine motherhood without redefining like where we are in this season. Because as a mother, you can only give out what's inside of you. So what are you doing to nurture your spirit? What are you doing to nurture your soul? How are you making sure that you're stepping away when you need to have that time to yourself? Because I often feel like we just stay in it and stay in it and stay in it to the point where then we snap. But that's not necessary. No one said push yourself to the limits. Step away, have a moment, go shower, and actually just process your thoughts, journal. Do all those things so that you are your best self and that you are healthy enough to sow good seeds into your child, because we're sowing seeds whether or not we realize it. But
Yeah.
how can we be intentional about sowing the good seeds that are going to
Yes,
bloom in our
that's real.
kids' futures?
That's real.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta
This
go.
has been great, y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So make sure you guys continue to like, comment, and subscribe as we're on the topic of redefining motherhood. The SpeakPipe link is still open, so if you don't want to type your response, you can record your response about what redefining motherhood looks like to you, or where you're at within motherhood yourself. So we want to hear from you guys on this next episode, where it's more of you guys telling us what redefining motherhood looks like to you, and then we'll play them and listen and respond on next week's episode. So make sure you click the SpeakPipe link. We'll put it on the bio as well, and then we'll do a few posts that show you guys where the link is. And you can follow us on Think Loud Crew on Instagram and on YouTube, and you can follow me at Shy Not Shy.
You can follow me at Kyle Lynn.
And you can follow me at A Hair by Shannon C.
You can follow me at Remy Chantel Bobo on Instagram. I always forget my handles.
Do you not know your middle name? Okay, and as always,
Goodness.
what do we say then?
Tell
Remy
your
up.
crew
Yeah.
about our crew.
Go, Remy, do it again, do it again.
Don't forget to tell your crew about
About
our crew.
our crew.